Like it?
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
And so, we're here with Justice Saucier with the Amanda Mann Clark Project, and Brittany Gokus will be coming in a minute, right? When she can. You like the new setup here?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I really like the new logo.
Yes, it's time for change. I had my 600 show last week, and so Taylor thought, that's a good time to change, kind of break out of the mold. So
600. That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm surprised, as many people are too, but I got good sponsors. I got Taylor there at the controls. He makes me look better than I do. He's got these new lights. He's got a new camera coming in.
Can you make me look better too?
No,
I don't know if that's possible.
No, you look great.
You're already perfect.
Perfect.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. See. Well, you have a big week coming up, right? So we'll talk about that. You have an event at the Railroaders.
Yes.
Yes.
So excited.
It is. And it's going to be great. And also, we can talk about the event you had last April and tell me how that went, the cornholes for buttholes. When I was advertising for that, everybody sitting in that seat cracked up when they saw that ad. They thought very appropriate, but also just clever. And so we'll talk about that. Boy, I've had a full day. I was telling you about it before. I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Lisa Moore Smith over at Stop Restoration because I am in need of their services. They're going to be over this afternoon. I had a little plumbing leak. It is what it is, Plumbing leak, nothing serious, but enough to get the floors wet. So I'm going to have them come check it out, which is what you should do. You don't need to wait. All right, and I'm just getting my my stuff set up. So, come on, there we go. Also, on Thursday, I'm going to be just chit-chatting about what's going on in the world. I'm going to be bringing in Brandon Crisp, and we're going to be on a special time at 1 o'clock, so y'all can set your clocks for that. I don't how many people just, oh, my Lord, it's almost time for the show. I got to stop what I'm doing right now or something. I like to think that anyway. Anyway, so let's talk about our sponsors, of course, which make all this happen. Thank you, Otto, over at Our Place, and Gina's. Have you been to Gina's yet?
I don't think I have, no.
You need to. It's really, really good. The pizza's great, and it's also a great atmosphere. They do a lot of takeout business, of course, but I think they're missing out a little bit on the whole experience. You go there, and they got the music playing. It's, blues and stuff that's appropriate for that kind of setting. And you also have, the great wait staff over there. But also Our Place. Everybody knows Our Place. They've been there forever. It's,
sure.
I'll be there, what is today? Tuesday. I'll be there Thursday. I do a lot of my podcast-related business and B&I-related business over there. Also, thank you to Wild Cigar and Culture. They got, on the 21st of this month, they're going to have a giveaway of a grill going on, and also they have, it's like a tiki party, and they're going to have various other, events going on. They have a lot of vendors will come in to help with all their stuff, with their special sales and all this other business. They are a space that everybody makes time for on their circuit, so to speak. They're like one of the go-to groups. Also, thank you to Tiffany Nico. The magazine should be out this week. I haven't seen it yet, but I will. LocalLifeTX.com is also where you can access them on the websites, on the interwebs. And it's a great place to advertise. 30,000 homes get it, plus a lot of the retailers carry extra copies, so you can peruse them while you're being taken care of and whatnot. And it's a great outfit. They really do great work. Also, thank you to Gale Southern Gem. Fine jewelry and gemstones. They're a full-service jeweler, and they are also a place that people, I'm talking about vendors, will use as a place to sell and have special events because they're known now as a stop on the jewelry circuit kind of thing. When's the last time you've been there? It's been a while?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of jewelry, but I can appreciate it.
Yeah, well, that's the deal. See, they have jewelry of all kinds. You can take your husband there and get him a watch because they have used Rolexes. Now those are very nice, and people collect those. I mean, like they do cars and stuff like that. I was really surprised, but there's so much about this I'm not aware of until I got to know Gala. So they can do repairs, they can do cleanings, they can do designs, and they also, of course, have great inventory. Thank you also to our friends over at Two Maids, Brenda Ramirez, and her crew at twomaidscleaning.com/Burleson or 817-764-0733. They'll come and do your home. clean it, and you pay them based on the rating you give them. Plus the fact that you have all these different plans. You say, well, I don't know if I can afford it every week or whatever. Well, they got all sorts of adaptable plans to your budget and your needs and whatnot. Or, what a lot of us in our group use them for our parents because, my parents are getting to that point. And they don't live in their service area, but they have a system, assisted cleaning kind of thing. So it's there's another deal dealing with parents, but we all do that, right? Mm-hmm. But twomatescleaning.com/Burleson, 817-764-0733. Give Brenda a call. Also, Pro Roofing. I know John's busy over in the DFW area. They do all over. They're about a 2-hour radius. So at 817-734-2756, I was talking to a couple of my friends over in Collin County, and they get hit pretty hard. And one's getting a roof inspected, and also there's a lot of people waiting to get it inspected. I tell people that you got to get your roof inspected when it's nice and sunny, so you don't have to worry about after the storm and after the fact, and you find out you have all this damage. Yeah. John came out last summer, and I'm going to have him come out this summer and tell me my roof's either needing repair or not. And last summer it was fine. I mean, they're not going to upsell you. They're not there to make you think your roof's caving in just because it got some rain on it. Also, thank you to Sammy Campbell, Candy Gow, over at Camco Mortgage. Lots going on with the mortgage. If you need to refinance, you need to have new financing. Talk to them because they know what's going on with the rates and the markets and all the deals. I mean, Candy was explaining to me all the various types of programs somebody may be eligible for. Now, my eyes started crossing, because there's so many of them, veterans, FHA, et cetera, and they can help you navigate all through that. Done it twice for me and other stops, and they're good people to work with. 817-778-4592, 817-925-2661, and Jeff Kelly of the Weddington Agency. Call him at 817-781-0546 or 817-720-6300 or Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com. He has several houses that he's showing. He puts them on Facebook. I share them with you all. So he has a lot going on. He's going to be on, what is the day? I get the dates mixed up. Tuesday. He'll be here about 3 weeks to talk about real estate because you read a lot of this stuff, what's going on. And Burleson may or may not be really being hit by the same market forces that everybody else is. I know that they talk about how home sales are slowing down, but you couldn't tell it by us. Mm-hmm. So also, we're going to talk about our new sponsors, the Railroaders, because they're having a special event for y'all. Mm-hmm. So since we last talked, you had a big fundraiser.
We did.
Over at Martin's Tavern, I believe.
Martin House Brewing.
Okay. Oh, well, that's close. I got Martin right. All right. How did it go?
It went so well. It was our second year there, doing the Cornhole for Buttholes tournament. We had an even bigger crowd this year, which we were so excited about, and it was just a lot of fun. So not only was the Cornhole tournament going on, but we had a DJ, we had a butt sketch artist.
Okay, I have to ask about that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me, said, you mean they're going to sketch somebody's butt? I think they were thinking...
No.
I said, no, there'll be pants. Hey, somebody coming in? Oh, somebody was looking. No, it's not Brittany, just a gentleman. A lot of people look in.
They're like, what's going on in here?
Is that Mr. Allard? Oh, my. Anyway, but no.
You're so famous.
Yeah, well, infamous in some places, but anyway. But so I said, no, they're not going to ask for the moon to come out. Right. So how did that go?
It was great. Honestly, we had a huge line of people waiting to get their sketch done.
Come on in. Wait, hang on in. Brittany's here.
Hey, Britt.
All right, she just gets in. No big deal.
Sneaks in.
Yes, this is the fun of live podcasting. So it's all right. So we'll... you just jump on in. She's talking about y'all's event over at Martin
House Brewing.
Martin House Brewing, okay.
Yeah, the cornhole tournament. So I was telling about the butt sketch artist, how literally he stayed late because there was such a line of people wanting to get their sketch done. We offered it for free. We had a DJ, we had food, we had beer. What else was going on? We had our own little boutique, where we were selling Amanda Mann Clark themed, logoed items.
Like these, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right.
Shirts, hats.
Yeah, I was walking out my usual attire and said, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. I got a shirt I could wear. Yeah. You need to pull it up closer, Brittany.
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, because you sound like you're in the next room. All right. You've had a hectic morning, have you?
I have, yes.
Well, so I was telling Jessica about my hectic morning about the plumbing leak, but we're here for colorectal cancer research and whatnot.
Well, plumbing too.
Yeah,
right?
Plumbing, yeah. So did you make a decent amount of money?
We did.
Okay, good,
Yep.
good. And so what does that money go to?
I'm really glad you asked. So what we like to do is we like to support things that we know Amanda would want to have supported. So we support colorectal cancer services. What's the name of that again?
Colontown.
Colontown.
Colontown. Is that a real place?
It's a national organization.
Okay. It's like,
Colontown, Powelltown, and something else is all.
what's the name of that Broadway play? You're in Town? I mean, I thought maybe it's like the sequel, I guess. I don't know.
So this is actually, it was started out as kind of a social media group, and it was something that was big in her area. She was living in Houston at the time, and it had a lot of people who had undergone the same thing that she had undergone and were able to offer advice. And so the platform itself has a board of directors that connects people. So we knew that she really wanted to support that. We also we donate to the local hospital here to support colonoscopies for individuals that can't really necessarily afford one. And we also give to a fund that supports children of individuals who have either passed away from colorectal cancer or are in the process of getting treated to help their lives either financially or quality-wise.
You mentioned children. I mean, things like colonoscopies and things of that nature are something associated with people my age or a few years younger. I mean, I guess it's possible, certainly, but is it common for a child to get colorectal cancer?
No. The way that our support for them is for those children of the parents who are undergoing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I guess, Amanda Mann Clark was not particularly old, though.
That's correct.
She passed, was like mid-30s, right?
She was 35.
Right. And so it's not just an old man's disease. And I guess that's another thing is that we always think of colonoscopies as something men do, begrudgingly, unwillingly, that kind of thing. But, you would advertise or advise, rather, that women get them as well.
Absolutely. And think 45 now is the age that is recommended to get a colonoscopy, male or female. But if you're having symptoms, and this is something that Amanda, really wanted to tell others, and we're doing it on her behalf since she did not live, that young people get this disease, and to pay attention to your body. And if you have symptoms, go to your doctor and tell them that you want a colonoscopy.
Now, y'all both are registered nurses, right?
Correct.
All right. And so do y'all deal with this as your professional specialty, dealing with, or do you have other specialties, and this is something you do in honor of your friend?
We have other specialties.
What's y'all specialties?
Go ahead, Brett.
Well, I'm the nursing director for an ortho spine surgical floor, but then also medical oncology, and then our wound care floors.
Oh, where
department. At Texas South Hughley.
Okay. And you?
And I'm a clinical research nurse for a global clinical research organization.
Before your friend came down with this, would y'all, have any expertise in this area, or you just become experts now?
I mean, just the general nursing background of GI stuff and colonoscopies, but I think we've all had to learn a little bit more just to be able to talk.
Sure. But, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of times it's the men you have to persuade, but you have a lot of women that are getting colonoscopies. I mean, and also here's another thing I was thinking, a while back, my general practitioner gave me, since we're going to be talking to nurses and we talked about poop last time, I could talk to y'all. They gave me some sticks instead of, the whole thing. What does that do? All right, I don't have to explain it to the audience what those for, but to check out your stool, right?
Your stool, yes.
And
smear it on a card.
Yeah, and
so that's checking for blood, fecal occult blood, which is a darker type that isn't bright red, right? That you wouldn't necessarily see with the naked eye.
I was thinking when I was doing this procedure, and at home, and then you put it in an envelope and you mail it. Said, did the person that's going to be inspecting this, did they grow up as a young child saying, I can't wait to look at, little poop smeared sticks?
I imagine they did not.
I used to work at a doctor's office in the lab part of the clinic where they would draw blood and stuff. The girl would get multiple envelopes, and we always knew what day it was. But when you walked by and you could just smell it.
It's like, well, they're well paid, because that's, or like I'm going to the doctor tomorrow for my 6-month checkup. I take more pills and they're good for me, but so I have to get checked up, and they'll give me the cup and I go into the little bathroom and like, somebody's going to take this cup and put it under a microscope or whatever. Said, it takes a special type, I guess, to do that for a living.
Or you just get desensitized to
I
it,
guess so.
which is pretty much what happens.
Yeah, I would imagine. But you were talking to me before the show just about nurses in general. They deal with, that's kind of tame compared to some of the stuff you have to deal with.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, it is.
You know, some of the patients you have to deal with, you know.
We've got so many stories.
I bet you do. Well, I mentioned that my son's girlfriend's going to be just doing the OU nursing program.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be stressful, but there you go. But anyway, I getting off the topic here. As far as y'all keep up with the research of colorectal cancer and whatnot, what's going on with that? Has there been any changes, progress, movement in that area in terms of detection or treatment?
I mean, not particularly in the last couple of years. I mean,
The problem is a lot of the symptoms are constipation, maybe bleeding, and a lot of that gets looked over by doctors, especially if it's somebody, let's say, that's like 24 years old, and they come in with constipation and rectal bleeding. Well, nowadays, a doctor is not going to just look at that and think, oh, we need to check you for colorectal cancer.
Should they?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Absolutely. So it's getting more and more common, I think, the more people like us that are out there and talking about it, and all these organizations. There's another national organization that has been going to Washington, D.C. and trying to make a big difference there.
Right. I've never had those symptoms, but I can't imagine any doctor said, oh, you got rectal bleeding or something like that. Don't worry about it. You know, get some preparation H, you're good to go.
well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, you know, someone comes in that's young with constipation. They've been saying they're bearing down. It might make sense that they're having some tears, right, in their rectum from bearing down and trying to pass that hard stool. So
Knowing the doctors, I don't know a lot of doctors, but the handful I do know, they're so aware of missing a diagnosis that they'll over diagnose or something like that, over prescribe treatments or exams and tests or whatever else. That's not been my experience. They said, oh, you're fine, you know, who doesn't have rectal bleeding, you know, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, but what about a perfectly healthy 20-something-year-old?
Well,
you know,
I still would think they should check a look, because you look at somebody that's 26 and they're in pretty good health and whatever else, and then you find out they actually have a real problem. They just don't check it. Like I have blood pressure issues and diabetes, and I would never have known it had I not had it checked. You know, because when you have a diabetes situation, you know it when you're crashing, but you don't know it when you're too high.
Right.
And that's what I would think.
But, you know, for those two things, there are tests that are automatically run in the clinic that can find that. There are no tests that are really automatically run for colorectal cancer, right?
Right.
You have to talk about your symptoms, and a lot of people don't want to talk about those symptoms, or they overlook them.
Well, I can see why they might be a little bit hesitant to talk about their bathroom experiences.
Which is why we want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable talking about poop. And that's why we're here today.
or that's why we have the cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
It's just like a fun way to get together, and we remind them what it's about, and to get people talking about it, and that it's okay. It can be funny.
Well, yeah.
The word butthole is funny.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Let's be honest.
Oh, when I was running those ads and everybody sitting in this table, they'd just say, "That's very clever," and they'd start laughing a little bit. But I guess it's a way it sticks in their mind, you know, because you don't think about that. But you know, here's the issue about going back to the 26-year-old. They don't go to the doctor unless they're bleeding out the eyes.
Right.
You know, I know a lot of young people, and they don't see the need for annual checkups, and because they say, well, it's just $85 or whatever it costs,
right.
You know, a lot of them don't have insurance by choice. And I know we're supposed to have it and all this other business, but they don't. And then they find out they need it.
And, you know, but we talked about Amanda's story last time we were here, and I want to, rehash all of it. But
Well, you can go grab.
But just as a kind of along the same lines, she came in with constipation, back pain, you know, these sort of problems, but she was pregnant at the time, and she was 34 at the time. And so nobody really thought about that it could be colorectal cancer. The assumption was that it was pregnancy related. And then when it continued after the baby was born, they thought, well, you know, maybe it's just, you know, muscle or nerve. And so she was prescribed physical therapy, and it just continued from there, with them thinking, no, there's no way it could be this. And by the time that they realized, and she started having very frank symptoms like, you know, ribbon stools and frank blood, COVID had happened, and all of the elective procedures were put on hold.
That's an elective procedure, colorectal cancer.
Well, the
colonoscopy.
the diagnosis for it, yes,
Well,
or the procedure to diagnose it, yes.
Well, how invasive is the exam for colorectal cancer? I mean, I know you have the colonoscopy and there's all that routine you go through with the formula and whatnot.
Bowel prep.
Yeah, and all that. But isn't there, I mentioned one earlier, isn't there one that's a lot less invasive, a lot less?
Cologuard.
Yeah.
The cards.
Yeah, and
It just checks for any type of, just any type of cell that's abnormal.
Right.
So even if you have hemorrhoids, that could come back positive. But it is a good way if somebody is absolutely refusing to do a colonoscopy, excuse me, then it is a good way for at least them to get that checked.
Yeah, so it would be unlikely to get a false negative, but it would be likely to get a false positive.
Okay. Well, I just was wondering if there's another type of test that doesn't, could take as much time and effort and, and expense and whatever else, because it sounds like something you may not know you have until it's too late. And there are too many stories I'm hearing about cancer, other types of cancer as well, where people didn't know they had it. There's a dear woman that just passed away last month from brain cancer, and she was with the Re-Inspire group, and she basically found out, and then 2 weeks later she passed. And
All too common.
the late Sharice Olson. And she'd been on the show 2 or 3 times, and I was like absolutely shocked. But you hear these stories about, oh, well, I'm in stage 4, and I didn't even know I had gone through the first 3 stages. And I just wonder if there's some way that in this particular area you can find out before you have to really go through this routine.
So not at this point, but it certainly wouldn't hurt if you're not ready to go down the colonoscopy road to ask your doctor or nurse practitioner about other options that are less invasive. Because at least, if you get negative, great, load off your mind. If you get a positive, whether it's false or not, you know that you need to take the next step to verify.
Yeah, I think a lot of the hesitation also isn't just the reluctance to take the formula and the prep and all that business and then go at 3 a.m., and have the doctor stick stuff in you and stuff like that. It's also the expense. I mean, the insurance is not as cooperative about it has such a high deductibles.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, I just can't afford it, and I don't feel bad, so therefore, and they may be carrying some sort of precancerous condition because of their medical insurance programs.
And that's why the donation to the colorectal program at the local hospital that we do is so important to us. For those people who may be able to catch it early enough to where they don't have to have such, a huge rounds of chemo and all these things, catch it early enough that it's more of a localized fix.
Well, I had mine. I was thinking back on this. It was October of 2018. How often should I get it done?
I think his recommendation is every 5 years.
Ooh, I'm past due. I gotta get my oil changed, I guess, as they say.
Are you having any symptoms?
No, I really not. I mean, I don't have any of the things you described. But again, I don't think I have it. But then again, that's what these colonoscopies are for, to tell you that you don't have it.
Because polyps, technically those can potentially grow into something maybe not, malignant, or maybe they're just benign, but you can remove those early and quickly and easily and not have to worry about them growing into anything else.
And also colonoscopies detect other kinds of cancers just besides colorectal, does it not? Or is it primarily just for that?
It's just in the area that they're checking, so it would just be one.
Okay, so when you talk about colorectal cancer, you're talking about the entire colon system, not just one specific area, shall we say?
Primarily the large intestine.
Right, okay. And that's where most of the cancer resides in, right?
Correct.
Because I think another people with it, you put the word rectal in it, they have a different vision of what we're talking about here. We're really talking about cancer of the colon more than the sphincter, if you will, that kind of thing.
Anything past the sphincter.
Right. See how medical I'm getting here? You ladies are teaching me a lot here. So is there a means by which people without means can get this done? That's what you're here for, I know.
Right.
But do you ever feel like you're a small solution to a big problem?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, overwhelming.
100%, yes.
Like you got
But
this.
if we can at least get people talking about it and realizing their symptoms are actual symptoms and to talk to their doctor, then we've done a good job.
Well, it's been my experience that you have to talk the men into it because men,
Yes.
I'm fine, whatever. And they don't want to admit to have help or they're like me, they're cheap. They don't want to spend the money and that kind of thing.
Yeah, my husband just turned 51 a couple of months ago, and I've been on him since 49 and a half to get this scheduled.
He lives with you and he's holding out?
Yeah.
I would figure you say, buddy, you're getting it done, so here's the stuff, get ready. You got an appointment in the morning.
He finally made an appointment because I threatened that either he made the appointment or I would make it for him. And he wanted a little bit more control over that process. So,
Is your husband the same way?
My husband is younger than me, so he's not quite 45 yet.
Okay,
he's also a nurse. So he knows better.
But he does know. So as soon as he turns 45, he will be getting one.
Yeah, whether he likes it or not. That's
right.
So it used to be 50, now it's 45.
Yes,
right.
All right, what changed?
Because people younger and younger are getting colorectal cancer.
Are they getting it or just it's being diagnosed more? Because see, sometimes it's cancer happens, it's just going to happen, and then sometimes there are things people do to make it worse, like smoking or overeating or whatever else.
Yeah. So if you look at the graphs definitely trend up as far as diagnosis and death in the younger populations. It stayed kind of the same for 50 and older, right? I think because it's kind of
You're already getting checked.
in our general collective to go ahead and know that needs to be done. But the incidence of mortality in the younger generation is increasing.
Why is that? Is it our environment or something?
We don't know. We have thoughts.
Well, give us the thoughts then. It's speculation, and that's what science is driven by is thoughts.
Honestly, if you look at what has changed in the last 40, 50 years, is pretty much the food that we eat. So I personally think it probably has a lot to do with the preservatives or all of the things that we put in our mouth now.
Because if you think about it, it's colorectal cancer will grow to be soon. I'm not sure when, but the leading cause of.
They're saying by 2030 it will be the number one cancer killing.
Right.
Even more so than say lung cancer or brain cancer.
And that's for 50 years old and younger.
Good
by
grief.
2030.
And so rationale, if you think about it, is what has changed, and like she said, in the past 40 years, and what has changed, and what is specifically affecting the colon, and that's food, right? For the most part, that's an easy one. And so preservatives could be a reason. I personally, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but I personally think, in the 80s, we saw a lot more plastics introduced. We also saw microwaves introduced where we would heat things up in plastic. And I wonder, just speculation, if there's a correlation.
It very likely is. I mean, because I never used plastic in the microwave because my mama said don't use plastic in the microwave, and that stuck with me. And I found out the hard way: don't put a fork in the microwave, and that kind of thing. But as far as, I think you're right though. It's the diet, and I think also, I don't know if we're not as active physically,
for sure.
because like my dad's generation, most people worked physical for a living, and we don't do that as much as we used to. But I do believe it's the diet. That's another thing for y'all living in your families. I mean, it's like you're always probably thinking about what's good for my kids, what's good for my family on the dinner table, and I just can't help but think I'll drive by McDonald's like, no, I'm not going to.
Well,
it's hard to stop bad habits.
But we try to make healthier choices.
Yeah.
Like, I'll try to go for the chicken nugget as opposed to the quarter pounder with cheese.
I haven't been to McDonald's. I went to once. I take that back. Once back in the fall because I was driving, and it was the only place I could get something. But it's been years and years because diabetes focuses your attention on diets.
Sure it does.
And now that I'm semi-retired, I get more time to cook, and I can actually use vegetables instead of stuff out of a can and that stuff kind of thing. But not everybody has that kind of ability.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that time. I just think of these single moms, and they're just maybe have two jobs, and they're just trying to find something for their kids to eat.
Exactly.
The ladies over at Harvest House and Promises will tell you, and House of Hope I've hooked up with now, they'll tell you. That's one of the main concerns these ladies have when they come in. Is like, we want something for our kids that isn't going to kill them. They don't want cookies and stuff. They want legitimate food, I guess, if you will.
Right.
So, is there a way you can prevent colorectal cancer that you know of? I mean, we're talking about food and diet, and it's good for so many other things as well. But is there other things?
I mean, just the normal ones. You know, a healthy diet, roughage, right? Like fruits and vegetables. I don't know that that's preventative necessarily, but it sure lessens the incidence of introducing preservatives and things like that into your diet, which we don't know for sure causes it, right?
Right.
Obviously, you know, for any kind of cancers, smoking.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And also, you know, alcohol. Who knows what alcohol does to the gut? We don't know for sure. So if you can limit, right, in moderation.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm not.
Take away all the fun stuff.
Yeah, and all the fun stuff. That's I got you. But let's switch gears and talk about your next event coming up. You've been dealing with that, right? All right.
We are going to be the charity spotlight for the Cleburne Railroaders.
There it is. See how you just say it and it shows up on the screen.
I like it.
Magical Taylor.
Yeah. We have a relationship now with the Railroaders. They're one of our sponsors. I'm going to talk about them at the end of the show because I kind of told Kay I would put them towards the end to highlight their schedule. But y'all got coming up. So what's going to happen this Friday night?
So it's the game, I believe, starts at 7. It's one of their firework nights, so there will be fireworks after the game. We'll have one of our tables set up with all kinds of information about colorectal cancer, about us. We'll be selling some of our merchandise. And then we also have a special guest that's going to throw out the first pitch.
Yeah, she told me.
I already slipped.
Sorry. You know,
It's going to be so cute. I cannot wait.
the son of the late
Amanda's son.
Yeah.
Cade.
Well, he's like, what, 4?
He's 4 years old, but he is super excited.
So he's not freaking out about throwing a ball in front of a bunch of people. He's like good to go, huh?
Well, he's not yet.
Yeah. Well,
I guess we'll see what happens.
We have a backup plan, right?
well, his dad and sister will be on the field with him, I'm sure. Right? So he
We
won't
could
be all
probably
he's
make
not
that
gonna
happen,
I got
too.
there.
He did request a walkout song, and I haven't heard back if they'll be able to do it or not.
What is the song?
"We Will Rock You" by Queen.
I bet they could do it. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's fun. The kid asked for this.
Yes.
4 years old, and he already knows that. Okay,
I
good
can't wait
for
to
him.
see him.
I mean, that's the coolest part of
Yeah.
a baseball game.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Have you been to a
I've never
railroader
been.
game? You're going to really enjoy it if even
I've
if you're
heard
just
it's great.
Well, if you're just a casual baseball fan, it's great because the game's good and it's low key, it's relaxed. The kids go play out in this grassy area around the third base line, and everybody just kind of enjoying the game. And it's not high intensity or whatever, and it's affordable. And they have a really nice club. You have to check the club level. I'm sure Kay will probably hook up with you all on Friday night and have her take you up there. Because if they're having a special event, she told me that usually it's closed until after the first pitch, and then it's open to everybody. And then go up there and get a hot dog or a beer or whatever is on your mind. And so,
Yeah, so I was telling Brad, I'm really excited about going because I love a good baseball game. I love a hot dog. I love a beer. I do not want to mess with Arlington traffic.
Right.
I just don't.
No.
So I'm really excited I've never been to, Cleburne Railroaders. I'm excited to check it out.
well, it's old school. Old timers like myself remember minor league baseball used to be a part of a lot of communities, and so it's a throwback, and it's going to be great. And so you're going to have, but back to y'all anyway, you're going to have like your booth out there and whatever else. You have anything to hand out, like maybe those wooden sticks for
I mean, we can hand them out. We don't have anywhere to send them.
Yeah,
so.
if you have mailers that come back, there's the men's room over there. That would be fun. That would be to get their attention.
I think just because of this, we'll have wooden sticks, and then whoever comes up will know what we're talking about
Oh,
when
you
they
bet.
see the wooden sticks. So you listen to
How
Mr. Allard.
about we do this? Anybody that comes up to us and asks for a wooden stick, we will put their name into a pot. and
That's a great idea.
We'll draw it for a prize at the end of the game.
Well, I haven't gotten it yet, but I may have some swag coming in from the Railroaders, some tickets and whatnot. I bet you can get Kay to throw in a couple of tickets.
Oh, for sure.
I really appreciate how they're integrating themselves with the community because they're also the next night, Saturday night, is First Responders Night, and then in about 2 weeks we have Harvest House, and they already had Next Step, and so and I know Crazy Eights is on their schedule, so I really appreciate what Kay is doing here.
Yeah, I love this idea.
Yeah, and it's lots of fun, but it's not something you think about when you go to a ball game. I can tell you that.
Right.
And here's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No. We'll make them all feel comfortable talking about poop. when they come to visit our table.
That's right. We definitely will.
Yes. So how's your stool? that's not something you hear at the
Have
ball
you
game.
pooped today?
And how was it?
What was the consistency? Here's what's that chart? The poop chart?
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it, but
Oh,
there's
my
an
Lord.
actual chart that
Shows you what it should look like.
yeah.
I was just talking earlier about who does that for a living. I don't know, but somebody has to, thankfully, I suppose. But I just hope they're well paid. And, it's. Do you have any other plans coming up? I mean, do y'all plan that far out, or is it like, do you have stuff going on the next 6 months or whatnot?
We do. We've been talking about having a 3-year anniversary event, maybe in September, October, but we have not set a date or anything.
Well, I tell you, one thing you ought to do, though, set this date, September 19th. That's National Giving Day, and I have a special
Yes.
show. Did we talk about that last time?
No, but we are registering. For
Okay,
that.
well, what I do is we have all the nonprofits in this area come in, and they sit here in Jessica's seat for about 10 minutes and say, here's what we do. Here's our QR code, blah, blah, blah.
Awesome.
And last September at 8, but this time I could add y'all, I could add House of Hope.
That would be wonderful.
So just put that on the schedule, and it's a little bit longer show, so you might want to. It's like an hour and a half show because I do have a few. And what really was nice about it was afterwards they all sat around that couch or these chairs, and we recorded a show without an audience that we ran later. It was just them talking amongst each other, and the camaraderie and the community feel was touching. And I think if these have been around a while. I think if as more y'all are around, you can integrate with these people.
We could learn so much from them.
You're going to learn about how to do fundraising. You'll find out the stresses y'all are going through right now. They go through because I'm sure y'all are, not nervous so much, but you're kind of wondering what's going to happen Friday night and if it's going to be a big deal or not. If make any money or not. So.
Yeah, that's why we need all of your listeners to come out using the QR code that was on the screen.
Right.
And I just learned, just in
There's the
case
one.
there's anyone else out there who is like me and learned a couple of days ago that you can access a QR code from your phone because usually you hover over a hard copy, right? But I learned that you can save the picture to your phone, go into photos, and then, hold your finger down on it and it'll open up Safari or whatever your web browser is and go to it from there. I did not know that.
I learned lots of things, and Taylor laughs and chuckles in the control room. Like, hey, Taylor, heard about this thing called PowerPoints. Do you know anything about that? And that PowerPoint.
What's that?
It's that. Yeah, and he's like, it's so last year and that kind of thing.
Taylor, when did you learn how to use a QR code that way?
A while back.
Oh,
When
no,
they first came out.
All right.
No, he. Sometimes some people come on here
Yesterday, I just now learned it actually.
Oh, thank
right
you. That
now.
makes me feel so much less
You
old.
just taught me.
Yeah, okay. He'll come and talk. Like he had Colin Gregory on, and they're both kind of technical guys, and they start talking about this camera and that, this and that, and they're like, "Well, what? I don't know what's going on." But as far as other fundraisers, I could tell you one that's you might want to consider. It's not golf because I got one. I got to talk about that too at the end of Burleson Opportunity Fund. But a lot of people use golf tournaments, but those are tough to pull off unless you have a big support system. But you had that deal at the Martin's place. So you could also do pickleball is one that's not as hard, and you could set it up, and you can also talk to the people at the Brick about doing that. Or some other thing like that.
I'm actually really interested in getting into pickleball myself.
We have a new pickleball court at Hughley now.
You?
And you could probably see if they can lease it out or if they'll donate it or
We
whatever.
were the title sponsor for Center for ASD's pickleball tournament last year.
Oh, well, I didn't know I was intruding already pickleball for ASD. So it's a good grief. I mean, so that's what I'm talking about. And there's
I
so
love
many
Center
groups.
for ASD. I'm on their board also.
Really? Do you have
Lisa's wonderful.
Yes, or you have some family member that's part
My
of the
son.
Okay. They do great work, don't they? I have a couple of friends that send one's an adult, but he's still in need. And he's somewhat high functioning, but it's still great. He's 30 years old and it's still good.
My son doesn't go there, but just the experience of when he was diagnosed when he was 2 and all of the therapy and stuff that we had to do. And actually, Lisa's son and my son were at the Hope Center in Fort Worth for therapy at the same time.
It's interesting because they were on the show, I'm going to say about a month ago, and they brought one of their clients in. And for some reason, the young boy, her autistic son, couldn't go to school that day. And so she brought him here, and she's like, I hope he doesn't, intrude. It really was nice because he was all talking with Taylor and all this, and then he came on. He'd come back here and on the camera, and then we said, "Hey, you want to talk about ASD? I love ASD," and it was just really funny. And that's the kind of community that you're now a part of. And so they really do a lot of cross referencing and a lot of mutual support. As far as other types of fundraisers, a lot of times, you get these restaurants that will, donate a portion of their sales. I'm not going to call anybody out and obligate them, but, I bet there'll be somebody that you could talk to about that.
Yeah, there's several in Burleson.
I do know that Fish City's done it for some group.
Yeah,
and
Spring Creek does it too.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. And so,
there's a whole bunch.
well, you're in a good community for this, So, is it just the three of y'all on this? I know your friend
There's
Alex.
another one in Kansas City.
Kansas City. But you ever see yourself developing into a larger organization, like actual staff and things of that nature? Is that your hope one day?
We actually don't really know. All we know now is that we are happy to support the causes that Amanda would want to support if she lived. And whatever that looks like in the future is fine by us, as long as we can continue to do that and raise awareness of colorectal cancer. It would be lovely to have a larger board, but it takes a lot of time and it's a lot of work, and we want to have a sustained growth. We have volunteers as well. I mean, it's not just the four of us.
Okay, that was my next question. I mean, do you have volunteers, things of that nature? Do you have a website that people can donate to?
We do.
Just tell Taylor what it is, and he can whip it up.
amcproject::.org.
amcproject::.org. And does it have a QR code on that for giving as well? Or
There's a link you can go to.
a donate Dropbox. Every one of these colleagues of yours that do fundraising say the best thing about it is about having these donates. You can do it for smaller amounts per month, because a lot of people say, I don't have $1,000. There it is. All right.
It's a new website, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, this is, I guess, our launch of it. There's Amanda. Hi.
Oh, that's just sad, though. She's so young looking.
No.
Yeah.
That's her daughter, Addie. Hi, Addie.
So there's a way to donate or to contact us or look at all of our upcoming events.
They all say, if you can't give a lot of money, we understand. But what they really depend on is a small monthly, consistent donors.
We would love sponsorships like that.
Yeah.
Someone who's willing to donate monthly. We've talked about exploring that avenue, but again, there's only so many of us.
So with the PayPal Pay Later, that's one way that they could set up payments. It's not a year long, but we do have sponsorship packages also if they wanted to be a annual donor or a monthly donor or just a one-time.
Well, they all say they'll take any kind of donation, but those $15, $20, $25 monthly donations, that's what they build their programs on, because that's how they build their budgets, because they can estimate how much they're going to get in one lump after a fundraiser, but they can't count on it. And so almost all the groups now have some sort of system where you can have them tag your card every month. And that's if y'all can get that set up, I think it'll help. And even if it's just $500-$600 a month or whatever, that's $500 or $600 that you didn't have to work for. It's hard anyway.
Adds up.
Yeah, it does add up, and they'll tell you that they really appreciate that. So I don't know who deals that for your organization, but that's something y'all should look into, because it really does help them a lot. As far as other donations, though, I'm sure you'll take, whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
What would the money go for?
So again, our main concern is raising awareness. So we do have, brochures and things that we print out that talks about something you can put on your fridge, that talks about symptoms, so forth. But then we also want to support free colonoscopies for those who are in need.
Right.
We also support the Colon Town, Pal Town website, right? And the people behind that really connect individuals with cancer, colorectal cancer specifically, and make sure that they feel that they have a support system. Amanda was part of that. She just had so many great things to say about it.
There's also Cancer Care Services in Fort Worth. We donate to them also, and they're local, and they help we've specifically asked for it to be colorectal. And so they help people with prescriptions, travel.
When I had my colonoscopy, it was covered. How much is it uncovered by insurance? I mean, how much is it out
It depends
of pocket?
on if they're giving you a discount or not, but it, probably around $1,500.
Okay, that's kind of what I guessed. But by that time, one reason I did it in October is I already hit my deductible. But now, and that deductible is a little lower than it is now. So now my deductibles, forget it.
We also have this year we started. We have 3 grants to give out. So if somebody is already diagnosed with colorectal cancer and they're in a clinical trial, then we have $1,000 grants that we can give out for expenses of, gas or whatever they need to get to and from their clinical trials.
You mentioned the clinical trials and whatever else. What is the latest stage of treatment for it? Is it chemotherapy, radiation, the usual routine? Is there
Yes,
anything?
either or both.
Or both,
Either
yeah.
or both, depending on location and
How aggressive.
aggressiveness.
I've had a couple of friends in my Sunday school class, both ladies, that have gone through cancer. Not this type, but other types, and it's debilitating.
It is.
One is recovered, the other one's recovering, and it's still it's tough. It really is, and it's like we always talk about we're on the verge of curing cancer. I don't think I don't know, is that even a curable thing? But who knows? But as far as your organization, it is tax deductible, right?
Yes.
Okay, you all got that all set up
Yes.
and all, and so the guys you out there listening, this is really a worthy cause because somebody in your life is going to have it, or other similar type of situations, and I think all these events that we're talking about, they're all worthy, but this one can be
This
a
one's going to
lifesaver.
hit home
Yes.
more frequently in the coming years.
And that really does bother me. It's like our environment, it seems like it's just we're not built for it or something, or we're not built to what we've done to our environment.
Right.
And so, because I hear about people my age, it's like not if you're going to get it, it's when you're going to get cancer of some kind. And I don't know what to do about that. And do y'all deal with the government very much? Like in that kind of thing?
No.
Okay. Well, good for you. well, the problem.
Other than writing letters or something like that, there's not.
Yeah, but the thing about, if you get money from the government, sooner or later they're going to start intruding on what you're trying to do.
Right.
And whom you give to it and whatever else. And that's just the nature of it. And most of the nonprofits I deal with, they don't deal with the government unless they have to, and quite often they don't. But that's they would prefer to avoid entanglements with the government because they'll always put parameters on what you're doing and who you're doing it for and whatever else, and it just you don't need that in your life.
I mean, we make sure that we keep up with our tax exempt status by communicating with them every year, but that's the extent of it.
Yeah, with the IRS. Yeah. Yeah, I love dealing with the IRS. Well, because Taylor and I will tell you, as entrepreneurs, so to speak, you got to deal with them a bunch. But anyway, I'm rattling on. We're getting close to the end. Let's Taylor, put up the, if you would, the railroader schedule, and as a reminder for what's going on. Let's see. Today is Tuesday, so it's Tasty Tuesday, and then Wiener Wednesday and Thirsty Thursday. So you get discounts on various things out there, and then of course y'all's coming in on Friday. And did you contact Kay or did she contact you?
Actually, we met. It wasn't Kay. It was someone else, and I can't remember his name. But at the
Probably the
Chamber
owner.
of Commerce put on the nonprofit luncheon. So we were at that, and he came up and talked to us, and then I got in touch with Kay.
I think that's the owner. I think because this is something I know the railroaders have been really keen on doing, is being involved in the nonprofits in Johnson County. But Fireworks Friday, and that's it, and also First Responder Night, and then Sunday Faith and Family Night. They really do promote, and I like that. As far as long term, I deal with these nonprofits enough. I can give you some tips, I guess, that I picked up from them. But y'all been around for 3 years now,
Yes.
and you're going to be around, God willing, a lot longer than that. I hope
so.
We got to get you on the show on a fairly routine basis because this is something. Well, it's important not just because what's the show about, but I think it's, a lot of people need to know what's going on with this.
I think I'm going to get coffee cups made to bring to your show, and it's going to say, grab a cup, let's talk poop.
Talk poop, that's fine.
it.
I know somebody that can make those kind of cups.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, there's a guy in my networking group that does those kind of things.
Nice.
But as far as other kind of swag, I like the shirt. I work in it because it's comfortable.
It's really soft, isn't it?
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
Creative Concepts here in Burleson made those.
Oh, I know them. Mandy
Yeah.
Harden?
Yes.
Okay, is that who you deal with? I mean,
She does all of our T-shirts.
well, she did my stuff. Mandy was part of our group for a while, my B&I group. So, yeah, I could recommend her, too.
Yeah.
And Mandy's we miss her at B&I, tell you the truth. But we have somebody else that does it as well, and he's a good guy. But if you got a situation set up already with Mandy, I think that's fine, too.
Speaking of our logo, can I tell you a quick little story?
Sure.
Would you pull up the logo, Taylor, again, real quick? On our website probably is where you can find it quickest, and it's also on Brad's hat. That is actually the tattoo that Amanda got after she was diagnosed, before she died. She's the mama elephant, and those are the two baby elephants. And the mama elephant was in purple because that was her favorite color. And then there was a pink elephant and a blue elephant, one for Addie, one for Cade. And that is why that is our logo. And also
It's on the back of my shirt.
Yep. And also because, elephants remember, and we remember her. And we want you guys to remember the importance of making sure that you pay attention to your body and advocate for yourself if you're having symptoms for colorectal cancer.
Did I tell you about the story about the elephant that I had found? Female elephants, if one of them is hurt or sick, that the females will make a circle around them and kick up dust to make sure that elephant is protected. So in a way, I feel like that's kind of what we're doing for Amanda.
No, that's interesting. I guess I didn't see that. I missed that on Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom back when I was a kid. But there you go. Well, as we shut down, I guess we're about at the end. I'll let y'all take it from here. Last words. Who wants to go first? Okay. You got thrown under the bus there.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Just
let us know in a minute kind of situation what it's about and what to do. Because what we do also, we try to make reels out of some of these things. And so there you go.
Okay. Well, the Amanda Mann Clark Project is raising awareness for colorectal cancer. We would love to take donations, anything that we can do to help support people that are going through it, or to help people get the care that they need, or to get a diagnosis. We love to have fun, crazy events that just kind of get people more comfortable about talking about symptoms that people normally don't want to talk about. So anything that we can do to just get people to talk about symptoms, be comfortable with it, be comfortable enough to talk to their doctors about it, and to hopefully get screenings.
And the reason it's important to us is because it was important to Amanda before she died. She talked a lot about wanting everyone to know that this could happen to young people too.
It's really hard to see someone in your life that is such a good friend, and you almost look at them like they're invincible, just an amazing person. And something like this happens with no history, nothing, and within a year they're gone. And we would do anything so that somebody else doesn't have to go through that.
Well, y'all said it better than I could. All right, before you leave, we'll schedule a future show, because I like having to talk about poop. May not be my favorite subject, but I think it's an important subject and whatnot. And I'm glad that y'all are doing what you're doing. Thursday, I'm with Brandon Crisp. We're going to just chit chat about what's going on in the world. Next week, I'm looking at my schedule. Next week, I'm going to have Sanford Mason from the American Legion. That's going to be a great show. And also, I have a friend from B&I, Melissa Woods, going to talk about, she's a travel agent. We're going to talk about summer travel and things of that nature. So it's going to be lots of fun.
Nice.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you for having us.
No, I love it. This is what the show is about. I can bellyache about Joe Biden on my old time. All right.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all, ladies. And thank you, Taylor.
Always.
All right.